Hey, everybody, welcome to the John DeVito Show. It is Friday. Thank God. Almost the weekend, and I know that everybody's excited about that. So here we are, Friday, 11:43 a.m. Eastern Time here in the Boston area. It is a beautiful day today. No rain, nice weather. It's sunny, not super warm, but it's probably, 65 degrees, somewhere around there. And up here in Boston, we will take it. We will take that warm, relatively warm, nice weather up here after we've been through all those months of cold and ice and snow. But we have a good weekend coming up. But of course, now we have to worry about a giant Chinese rocket crashing down to the earth. Now, what in the hell is going on with that? If we haven't had enough happening in this year, we've had meteors passing by the earth, we've had COVID for over a year. We deal with Joe Biden on a daily basis. That's enough to drive anyone insane. And now we've got this giant Chinese rocket that is going to crash down. And some experts are predicting this rocket is going to crash down in Utah. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Good to see you. Eric, thank you for everybody coming in. I really appreciate it. But it's crazy stuff, man. I mean, this thing is huge. And they, of course, are estimating that it's going to burn up and, all that type of stuff. And hopefully that will be the case. So, but just kind of crazy stuff. So make sure on Sunday, you kind of keep one eye on the sky just in case it ends up in one of our areas. I mean, who knows? It could hit central Massachusetts and I'll be running for cover if I see that thing coming down. Of course, I can't move like I used to, so I'm probably going to be out of luck if it comes in my direction. But that's what we got going on in the U.S., man. We got Chinese rockets crashing down to the ground. But we're excited here in the DeVito house. We get a big weekend of baseball as always. And of course, the most important day of the year on Sunday, Mother's Day. So I'm sure everybody out there is run out and prepared to do something nice for their moms. And remember, it doesn't have to be something expensive. I think a lot of times people feel a lot of pressure to go out and spend a lot of money on their mom or maybe their wife because your wife's a mother. You don't have to do that. I think moms really appreciate, family time. They appreciate you maybe giving them a break from some of the many chores that they do on a daily basis. Make your mom breakfast in bed, take her out to lunch, do something nice for her, maybe fold the laundry for her since she probably does that in your house also. So Crazy Kane, welcome. Dark Bear, good to see you. And just chilling here on a Friday. So we're going to talk a little bit today in a few minutes, a little bit about, why are we here? Mike, how you doing? And this is something I wanted to talk about. I've been thinking about it a little bit. And this was actually brought on by a video I watched the other day where someone was talking about, really stopping and thinking about so many of the amazing things that happen here on Earth on a daily basis, things we don't really even think about. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But right now, I just want to chat a little bit. This weekend here in Massachusetts, like I said, we got baseball games. My son Brandon played in a Little League game last night, and this was literally like the fastest baseball game I think I've ever been to. Now, it was a Little League game, which they tend to run for quite a while sometimes, but it was probably the two best pitchers in the league were pitching in this game last night. They treated it like a playoff game. The 6-inning game was over in under an hour. It was like literally 55 minutes. I couldn't believe the game was over. It was a 2-1 game, great game, just a pitcher's duel. So we got home nice and early last night and got to enjoy some time at home. We were expecting, to be home around 9, and we got home around 7. So that was kind of a nice bonus last night to kind of sit back and chill. So you know how it is with us. Baseball all weekend. We'll be doing that, enjoying the nice weather. I think it's going to be really nice on Mother's Day here. And, for us, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do for Mother's Day yet. We've got, unfortunately, 2 baseball games in the afternoon at 2 and 4 o'clock. But probably just maybe, like I said earlier, do something nice for my wife in the morning. Give her a little break from some of the things that she has to do on a daily basis. I'd love to take her out for lunch someplace, but I don't think we can do it on Sunday due to baseball. But that is what it is. That's our life. We're busy. We like it. We like it that way. And that's maybe think about a lot of the things that have been going on in the world right now over the last year. Some of my shows lately, I've been trying to talk about some of the things that will hopefully help people feel more positive about the things that are going on right now. Because face it, where we are right now, we're in the middle of this pandemic still. A lot of people are feeling that it's time for the CDC and our government to reduce some of the regulations that we're dealing with. It's time for us to take the masks off. It's time for us to allow businesses to open up and get back to normal. It's time to allow people to get back to their lives, but we're still not seeing that. We're still seeing the government protecting us, and I know that they probably have good intentions in doing so, but I think we do need to get to a point where we're allowed to go back to our life, because we cannot live in a bubble forever, right? So I think for the last year, I've been trying to figure out some small, maybe things that I take for granted on a daily basis that I haven't thought about and really valued in the past. And I saw a video the other day that someone sent me, and it was about exactly that. Just really being amazed by the small things that happen in life. A lot of times you get so busy in your life. All of us here, we're doing our jobs, we're with our families, maybe we're in school, maybe we're doing our podcasts, and we have all these things on a daily basis that we have to do, and we find ourselves kind of rushing from one thing to the next, and we're not really taking any time to sit back and think about what's really important in life and what really life is all about, right? So this video I saw the other day was really good, and I've thought this exact same thing many, many times. And I like to talk about things with my family, and I'm kind of I guess I think I'm a deep thinker. I'm probably not, but I like to think about some things that we don't always think about on a regular basis. Hey, everybody coming in, Mr. T, Mr. A, all the good people coming in. I appreciate all of you being in here. But if you really think about our existence on this planet, it's kind of crazy, right? We are on this big ball of mud. We're hurtling through space. And do we really know where we are, why we're here? And I've talked about this before on the show, but if you think about the whole concept of our universe, if the universe goes on forever, how is that possible? If the universe ends at some point, how is that possible? If there are different dimensions, how does that work? But here we are, we're on this giant ball of mud, this giant marble hurtling through space. We're living organisms. We, give birth to our own children. We are self-sustaining, where we have, energy and things like that, energy sources for ourselves. If our body, breaks a bone, it heals itself. We live our bodies. We live in the most complicated machine ever created in the history of our planet, right? So if you look at it, it's just, crazy that we're on this journey, whatever it may be, and we get so caught up in just doing like the status quo every day. And, we get up, we go to work, we do this, we do that, we clean our apartment, clean our house, listen to Podbean for a couple hours. And we don't really sit back and think about maybe what our purpose is on this earth. And it was funny. I saw a woman this morning. I got up early today and I got on TikTok, and I was surfing videos on that. And I happened to see this woman who was sitting at the beach in Daytona Beach, Florida. And she put an American flag in the ground, which I thought was great, right in front of her. The sunrise was just coming up. And she said she wanted to do her show from Daytona Beach so everyone could see the sunrise, because she wanted to have everybody sit back for a minute and just appreciate some of the smaller things in life, some of the things that we don't really pay attention to, or some of the things that we don't, really sit back and think about on a daily basis. And I thought that was super cool, because that was kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit today. I think about my life. I've spent so much time in my life trying to get to a point in my life where I guess I'm considered successful, and what does successful mean? There are so many different definitions as to what success is or what true success is. But my entire life, I busted my ass in school for the most part. I wasn't a great student, but I tried. I ended up going to college, and I played football on a scholarship to get me into college. So I lifted weights. I ran. I, worked my ass off in order to play football at a very high level. It was a lot of work. And then you get out and you start working and you work and work and work. And before you know it, here I am, I'm 53 years old. And am I successful financially? I guess yes. I mean, I'm not, loaded, but I mean, we're good enough where we have everything that we need. But, have I given up things along the way while I've been so focused on this life of success? Now, don't get me wrong. It's good to have goals. It's good to have a plan for your life, so you're not just wandering aimlessly in your life without any point to, I guess, your existence. And again, it doesn't have to be a financial goal. It could be you have a goal where you want to help people, you want to be a teacher, you want to do whatever it is. If you have a meaning for your life or a goal for your life, it's great. And so much of us spend so much time working on those things, we don't really stop and smell the roses, right? We don't stop and think about, okay, what are some of the little things in my life that I'm extremely blessed for? And sometimes you don't recognize those things until they're gone. I look at some of the things I've had in my life, and welcome to everybody coming in. I see Victor, Dina Joe. Thank you to everybody. I get quite a few people in the live, so thank you so much for joining me. I'm just kind of ranting, looking at my microphone, so I'm going to open up the phone lines in a little bit so we can have a conversation about this. But I mean, I think about my life right now. Here I am. I'm on, I guess you could say, the back nine of my life, thinking of a golf course. I'm over 50. I mean, unless I live to be 110, I've lived more lives than I probably have left on this planet. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm okay being the age I am. I would not want to go back and be 20 years old again. The 20s for me were very difficult, but I need to realize that, man, I'm in this life. I'm fortunate to have a house. I'm fortunate to have a job, but my true blessings come from my children, my wife, my family. The fact that at my age, I'm still healthy and I'm able to do the things I want to do in my life. And I would say I don't take enough time during the course of a day to, I guess, take a walk and just think, or, whatever it may be, to take some downtime away from all the different chores that I have and think about what maybe my true purpose should be on this planet. But I've been trying to be better about that because, I've tried to be a giving person throughout the course of my life, but I'm one of those people, and I'm sure some of you guys are this way also. I always feel like I can do better. I mean, I don't know if you guys feel that way. I'm kind of cursed with that, and I'm not sure why I'm this way, but it's no matter what I do, no matter what I try to do, I always feel like I can do better than what I'm doing. I could improve on what I'm doing. And I know that sounds like a good thing, but it isn't, because I'm in a constant state of never being happy with what I do. And that is, it's a rare quality, but I don't know if it's a good quality. I really don't. Because I mean, I know that it's good in some ways, but it's also a curse in some ways as well, where you just are never satisfied and you never feel like you're getting to that finish line where you've had this life or this goal and you've hit it. And I don't know, it can be frustrating sometimes, but I think one of the things I'm trying to get better at is I'm trying to think of different ways where I can help people. Because really, when it comes down to it, if you think about why we're here, and I'm not going to turn this into a big religious thing because I know that turns some people off and I'm not looking to do that. But I mean, if you really look at us being here, in my opinion, we're a creation of God. I don't see how there's any way whatsoever that anyone could actually believe that we are just a random happening in the universe. I know that I have a lot of friends that are, agnostic. They don't believe in God, and that's fine. I'm not here to argue with anybody. But when I look at it, and I went through periods of time where I felt that way. I mean, life was kicking me in the ass. I didn't feel that there was a God. I didn't feel like God cared about me. I thought it was no different than hearing the story of Santa Claus. You hear the story of Santa Claus, you find out he's not real. Of course, St. Nicholas was real, but you hear that story and you kind of equate that to something like God not being real. But when you look at, the human body, if you look at the world, if you look at the universe, I mean, it's amazing. The everything that's there, everything that is out there is so beyond our comprehension. I mean, when I think about the human body, I can't imagine how a human body could be a random happening where you have a brain. The brain is more advanced than any supercomputer we have on this planet right now. We have these bodies, these human bodies that we have that feed themselves. They get rid of the nutrients and the things they don't need. They start little, they grow big. You can actually create your own babies, your little mini humans. And I mean, we can carry on generation after generation without really any supervision from, a higher being that we know of. I mean, if you create a computer, or if you create an automobile or a jet airplane or something really advanced as far as we think about it, I mean, those things can't go on unsupervised. I mean, whoever created us created this unsupervised being who's also learned how to repair itself. You've got doctors and surgeons, different things that kind of help us repair ourselves and live longer. I mean, the whole thing, when I really think about how intertwined and how amazing it is, in my mind, I just can't imagine how we're just the random happening of a big bang and there was no intelligent design whatsoever in our creation. So when I think about that, it makes me think more about, man, if we have this God that created us, and as the gentleman in the video said, you have this God who is willing to offer up his son to be nailed on a cross to absorb our sins. What could I be doing maybe a little bit better than I'm currently doing in order to show my love towards God? And, I want to open up the phone calls. I mean, I don't want this to be like a religious, show. That's not really what it was meant to be. It's just, thinking about, why are we here? Why are we on this planet? I'd like to hear other people's, opinions as to why we're here, why they feel we're here, if they think we have a divine purpose. I would love to hear from other people. So if anybody has anything and you want to call in, please call in. Please give me your feelings. Eric, I know you're a religious guy. And I guess, Eric, since you joined us up on the panel, I mean, what are your feelings? Why are we here? I mean, obviously, I think a lot of us feel that there is a God. What's our purpose? I mean, why do you think we're here? What's your opinion?
Well, you know, yeah, I think God had had plans for all of us to be here and to walk on this earth. But I know there are people in society who believe God doesn't exist because, and the reason they say God doesn't exist is because how can you believe in something when you've never seen it or heard it or felt its presence? Well, you know you know that there are ways you can sense God's presence without even seeing him, and the thing is having to believe it with your heart.
Right, right,
But you also have to remember too that God also blessed us with a gift called free will, because we have as individuals, we have the choice of do we want to accept that he's real or not.
right, right. No, it's true, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard because you can't, for the most part, see it. You don't experience it personally. I mean, for me, I do try to pray. I speak to God. I try to ask God to make me a better person, to lead me on the right journey, because again, I make a lot of mistakes in my life, like I'm sure everybody here does. No one's perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm far from perfect. I mean, I'm a human
That is
being
true.
like everybody else here, but it's hard. It's a hard life. I mean, we lose loved ones. I mean, as I mentioned yesterday, I just found out literally Wednesday that one of my cousins passed away in December from COVID. I didn't know he passed away. No one had told us. And it was a sad thing. He was a great
Right.
guy. He was an older guy. He was about 70, but he was a healthy guy. And, really, I really liked the guy. And to find out, a couple of months afterwards that he had passed due to COVID was sad. So during the course of our lives, I mean, we all have a lot of challenges. We all have a lot of difficult things that happen to us. And sometimes it's easy to sit back and go, you know what? No one's looking out for me. I don't know why we're here, where we're thrown into this world for whatever reason. And, it's against me. And I see it happen to people a lot where they just believe that there is no real purpose for them being here. And I think it hurts where if you can't sit back and realize that, what, we're important, we have a purpose, there is a reason why we're here, then it leads to people, I think for the most part, living kind of a sad life. Maybe I'm wrong. And, we've got a few other people that have called in. We've got Doc Bear that's here, Crazy Kane that's here. Doc Bear, let me start with you. I don't know if you have any thoughts on what we've been talking about so far, but I'd love to hear from you.
I appreciate you letting me call in, man. And
Oh, anytime. You're always welcome. Always.
I I used to not always be a savory character, we'll say, in my youth.
Oh, same here.
Okay, so I used to, kind of, doubt, like I believe what I can see, what I can feel, what I can touch,
Right.
And me and my me and one of my buddies were on a road trip on some back roads, and we were doing probably about 25 miles above the speed limit. And my buddy had been telling me, God is always there. You just have to be willing to look for him. You just have to have your eyes open to it. And we were speeding down this road, and had we been pulled over allegedly, we probably would have went to jail, and not for the speeding. And as we're going down this back road, a motorcycle comes out of nowhere, blaring past us, and like I said, we're doing 25 above the speed limit, and we spot on the back of his motorcycle a little sticker that says, "I love Jesus." And my brother looks right at me and goes, "No, I love Jesus." And I'm like, "No, I love Jesus." And we do that back and forth, joking a little bit. And then after about 2 minutes of doing that, and this biker getting up in front of us a little ways, a cop pulls out and lights that biker's ass up. And we both just looked right at one another. And my buddy told me, he said, if that biker hadn't just passed us just now, that would have been us.
Right. It's true. I mean, I've had so many things over the course of my life where, like you, in my younger years, in my 20s, things like that, I was not always, the most savory character in the world. Through my 20s, I went through a very difficult time. I felt like I had made some poor life choices. So in order to make that better, then I started drinking, I started doing drugs, I started running around. And, of course, that is just, you're going down that rabbit hole of failure as you continue to do these things. And I felt for a long time that, man, no one's looking out for me. There's no one up here. I mean, why the hell am I here? I didn't ask to be born. And I had a very hard time finding, I guess, solace and finding positivity in the world. And I don't even know what did it. I don't know what changed the way I thought. I think for me, it wasn't like a big epiphany moment. It was more like a gradual change for me where, some positive things started to happen. And I think, I think one of the things that happened for me was probably very late in my 20s. My grandmother died, and I was very close with her. She was a great woman, and I had actually smoked pot that particular night, and I got the call that this was her last night in the hospital. She was going to die. So I had to go into the hospital and watch her, unfortunately, pass away right in front of me, which was obviously a very negative experience. And for whatever reason, after that, I kind of got my stuff together a little bit where I kind of stopped doing that. I really cut back on my drinking quite a bit. And then, I decided I was going to focus on my career, try to be more responsible. And then literally like a couple of months later, I met the woman that I was going to marry. And it seems like things, once I made that conscious decision to kind of change my life, things kind of fell into place, one thing after another. And I'm not sure if that's because I changed the way I was living or if it was just my time and that was the plan that was laid out for me. But now, when I look back on my life in retrospect, from where I am now, I mean, there were things I wanted to do. I wanted to be in movies. And, I never had the courage, I guess, to go to California, give up everything and try to be an actor. And I really hadn't, studied much on that craft. I mean, I did a little bit of it in college. So it was kind of funny. I got married. I got moved to this little small town out in the middle of nowhere in Massachusetts. And literally one of the first people we met in this town was a girl that grew up in this town. And she is a producer in Hollywood. And she was filming a movie in Massachusetts. And they needed football coaches. And I was a football player in college. So I ended up talking to her. Next thing I know, I was cast in a movie called, I think initially it was We Got the Beat. Then it became Boy Band, then Breakdance Academy. You can actually find it on different platforms and things like that. And because of that, I ended up getting into, I think it was 6 movies through that same group. So it's kind of weird how I had this dream. It didn't really happen the way I wanted it to. But then when I followed the plan that kind of was presented to me, next thing I know, I've been in movies. I've got 4 kids. I've been a respected baseball coach in my area. I really love baseball. I coach like AAU teams and things like that. So the plan I had for myself didn't exactly work out. But I now have this plan where I was able to experience, coaching baseball, being in movies. But in addition, I've got an amazing wife and 4 incredible kids. And that was something I had never really thought about. And like I said yesterday, I would never trade. If I could go back right now, like I said yesterday, and be a member of the Boston Red Sox, play for them for 15 years, have $100 million in the bank, but you can't have your wife and your kids. That's not part of the deal. In a half a second, I would make that decision. Absolutely not. No interest. No amount of money could replace what I've had for the last, 18 years being a dad and raising my children and having all the experiences that have helped me to grow into a better person. So I do believe there's truth to there being a God, a plan that God has for all of us. I mean, Eric, Dark Bear, Crazy Kane, do you feel that God has a plan, or do you think that's garbage and it's all up to us to decide, what our life is going to be?
For a long time, I kind of just thought it was just all random events because when I was young, my grandmother passed away, and she was pretty much like the only positive influence I had, and I
Right.
thought that God had deprived me of her when I was young. But now, as an adult, I look back and I realize my grandmother really spoiled me. She kind of made me into a titty baby, and by losing her, it forced me into the fire to become strong, and it made me into the man that I needed to be now in order to be the person I am for my family and for my wife. And so I really believe that there's a purpose to it as long as you just kind of don't fight God's river, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right on with that. I mean, I think that you have to be willing to give yourself and be open to the fact that there is a plan for you. And when I've been lost, and that if you guys go back a couple of weeks, when I interviewed the girl or the woman that played Zuzu in It's a Wonderful Life, I had Zuzu Bailey on the show. She's now 80 years old, Carolyn Grimes, and it was funny when I was going through a very hard time in my late 20s. I had never seen that movie before, and for whatever reason, I sat down and watched it. And there was that one particular scene, if you guys have all seen the movie, where Jimmy Stewart, George Bailey was the character, had, he thought that his building and loan had been robbed of $10,000, or they lost $10,000. That's the equivalent of like $500,000 today. And he was sitting in the bar, basically, crying at the bar, knowing he was going to go to jail, he was going to be ruined. And he was asking God, show me the way, God, tell me what to do. And I got to the point in my life, and I remember that movie hit me. I was like, wow, I've done that. I've sat back and said, God, lead me. Tell me what I need to do in order to live the life I'm supposed to live. And I think when you do that, I mean, my experience anyway, honestly, is, I have felt that I have gotten the guidance that I've needed to help me be a better person. And for the people that have just come in and gone, oh God, here we go, another religious show on Podbean. That's not me. I don't belong to any organized religion. I don't go to church. I'm not proud of that, but it's just where I am. I'm a man without a religion right now because I was a Catholic, and I have a hard time supporting that organization at this point in my life after everything they've been through. But for me, I do have a spiritual relationship with the person upstairs. I do believe there's someone there that has created us. I'm not sure what our purpose is, but I mean, in my mind, our purpose here has to be a purpose of doing good for ourselves, doing good for others, and helping those who are struggling in their lives. I mean, that has to be the purpose of this God, if he is this good God that we have all been told. And I believe that he is, because I mean, again, if he wasn't, he could come down and destroy us, and he hasn't done that, or she hasn't done it. And for me, I mean, I do think that we all have this purpose where we need to find out what our actual plan is in our life and try to follow that plan. And I mean, I do think you have to fight for it, though. I mean, I don't think that plan is just given to you, because if you're not willing to listen, and if you're not willing to ask for guidance, you're not going to get it. And you're going to end up kind of floundering around aimlessly in your life, because I've been there. And it sounds like you've been there also, Dark Bear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been there.
Still there? Did I lose you? Are you muted?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so how about now, Crazy Kane? I got you up here, buddy, and I don't want to forget that you're up here on the panel, because I love you. And there he is. There's my man. There's my man. Let me ask you, what do you think about this topic, Crazy Kane? Do you believe in God? Do you think there's a plan for your life, or are you skeptical?
First off, I do believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
I am a Christian, Roman Catholic. Have I been going to church? Not as much.
Yeah, same here.
However, I have some issues, not with the faith, but the way people in the faith act. Because I've seen it on TikTok, I've seen it out of TikTok, out of social media, where we have supposedly God-given Christians shaming pagans or other people of other faiths. And I'm thinking to myself, when my grandma and papa would read me the Bible, not once did I ever hear God or Jesus say, if you don't believe in me, I'm condemning you.
Right. Right.
I believe the message was, when he talked to Moses, was don't commit adultery, honor thy mother and father, don't steal, don't kill. I don't remember him saying anything about raging war or sack these people because they don't believe in my way. So I am a very big person in faith. I believe we are all God's children.
Right.
And any faith, whether it be Christian or pagan, if you really do your research in the faiths and you see they are just like us against evil, that doesn't make them enemies. That makes them an ally, an alliance in God's big scheme to fight evil.
Yeah.
Granted, our beliefs may be a little different. There's some similarities, but it's different.
Well, what do you guys all think? What do you guys all think? You mentioned evil, Crazy Kane. What do you think right now are the powers of evil in this world that we're fighting? I mean, for me, I'm not going to turn this political, but honestly, I look at what is going on in our country. I look at what is going on in this world. And right now, I see a lot of evil. And the evil is coming from the top down. I think the people of this world, the people of our country, are being controlled by the wealthy. And I'm not talking about the person that has $1 million in the bank. I'm talking about the billionaires. I'm talking about Zuckerberg. I'm talking about Twitter. I'm talking about Bill Gates. I'm talking about our government leaders. We're being controlled. We're being separated. We're being manipulated. And for me,
being conditioned.
Right. I mean, I think we are being conditioned. We are being brainwashed. We are being led to believe that this way of life.
The Kool-Aid.
Right. And that's exactly it. So I don't know. I mean, we right now may be caught in the biggest battle of good versus evil in the history of this world. And, I know that I'm not 100 years old, but I'm 53 years old, guys. And I've been living for quite a while. I was born in 1968.
I'm 30.
Go ahead.
Let's roll.
Yeah, I was born in 1968. I've seen 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2, 10. Wow, I've been alive 7 decades. How is that possible? But I'm 53 and I've lived in 7 decades so far. That's kind of weird. But I've seen a lot of stuff, and I have never seen in my life, in my 53 years on this planet, I have never seen the American people as divided as we are right now. I have never seen us being played against each other like we have. I've never seen our government taking steps to control us like they are right now and keep us under their thumbs. And, people keep saying, well, it's all to protect us from the coronavirus. It's all to protect us. Keep wearing your masks, be a good soldier, do the things we're telling you to do. But see, this isn't going to go away. What's going to happen is next winter, coronavirus might be gone, but it's going to be a really bad flu season. And then you're going to have to put those masks back on again. Now that this is out of the thing, I mean, it's not going to go away. They're going to continue to try to put the masks on us, tell us to social distance, keep us away from each other. And I can't see that this is going to end anytime soon. And to me, this is the basis of evil. I mean, do you guys agree? Do you think I'm wrong? I mean, what are your feelings?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of sinister forces going on in the world. And I know, like other podcast friends have talked about this too. Jeremy had a really great interview on Monday with Pastor Greg Locked, and today he's going to be doing an interview with another great pastor. So, and one topic in this area that gets talked about is, and you probably see this written in the Bible that there would be false Christ and false prophets in the world. Basically wolves dressed in sheep's clothing who think they are doing God a service, but when their day of judgment comes, when they go before Him him to give an account, and like have I done your great work in your holy name and whatnot, and cast out evil spirits. They're going to wish they had never heard God say, "Depart from me, I never knew you."
Yep.
Because if you had truly done my work, you would have stayed of me. But and I think and I think in the nearly in the 245 years of America being an independent country, like every president, how they would always close out a speech, and they would oftentimes say, "God bless the United States of America." And with the Biden presidency right now, a lot of us, and I mentioned this yesterday, we've noticed he would close out a speech, and not even mention God. And the National Day of Prayer yesterday, no mention of God. And tell me that doesn't alarm you.
Deborah, I love you. You're still calling me a baby. That's what I love. See, like I said, I went to that lunch the other day with a lot of my dad's friends, and my dad's friends are all in their 80s, and it was a good feeling to be in a room with 25 people, and I was the youngest person in the room. So that made me feel fantastic. So thank you for calling me a baby. I appreciate that. I'll take that compliment. But, Victor made up a good point a little while ago, Eric. I agree with you completely, and I want to touch on what Victor said, because I just had this conversation last night with somebody, and I agree completely. Okay. Coronavirus, right? It's been this terrible thing. I lost my cousin to it. My wife's grandmother passed away. We've had it hit our family, no doubt about it. But the question is, this year, with the coronavirus being as bad as it was, how did we have almost no flu cases? What happened to the flu?
Oh, yeah.
What happened to the flu? So basically, because of the coronavirus, because we all wore masks, we cured flu this year. There was no flu. How is that possible? How was there no flu this year? And when I say no, I mean from like millions upon millions upon millions of cases down to like thousands of cases. The flu was almost completely eradicated from society this past year while we were all suffering from the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but that is a bunch of garbage. That's impossible. It didn't happen. And you have to believe that a good portion of these coronavirus cases were common flu cases that were transitioned over to be in those numbers. Because let's not forget, these hospitals, these places that are having people come in, there was specific money designated to go to patients that have the coronavirus. So again, if someone maybe died from a heart attack, but they didn't have coronavirus, if you diagnosed them as having the coronavirus, they would get the payment from the coronavirus from the federal government. So there were doctors out there who were not doing the right thing, who were classifying people as dying from the coronavirus when they in fact did not die from the coronavirus. So we are looking at this last year, the flu was cured. Congratulations. Hallelujah. It's a miracle. And it was funny because my wife was like, well, even her, well, it's because, we were wearing masks. We had masks on. We were social distancing. That's why there was no flu. So I said, okay, then if that worked with the flu, why didn't it work with the coronavirus? We were all wearing our masks. We were social distancing. We were all trapped in our homes, and the cases kept going up and up and up. We had 2 waves. So it apparently worked to stop the flu, but it didn't work to stop the coronavirus. And everyone buys it. Everyone believes it. Nobody questions it. And I don't understand how the American people can't all sit back and look to see that we're being fed a bill of goods. In my opinion, we're being fed a bill of goods. We're being fed a bill of goods about the coronavirus. We're being fed a bill of goods that we still have to be wearing masks, that our children need to wear masks to summer camps when they're going to be outside. We're being fed a bill of goods that the current president actually won. I know I probably have Democrats in here I'm going to piss off. My wife's a Democrat. She voted for Joe Biden. She fully admits that they cheated. She's like, there's no way on God's green earth that he won that election. And she voted for him. So, man, I don't know.
Well,
Facebook, Twitter, news outlets,
I didn't
they're
vote
controlling
for
us. Go ahead.
One of them.
Go ahead.
I didn't vote for Biden. I didn't vote for Trump. In my eyes, they're both old, silver-spooned.
You're right.
Should go to the nursing home. God forgive me.
It's okay. I mean, again, I'd love to think that Trump. I'd love to think that Trump is going to run for president in 2024, but he's going to be 79 years old. He's going to be 80. I mean, he's going to be an old man. He's already an old man.
I think the only reason Trump would probably run again in 2024 is because, I mean, he might very well be grooming, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis or Texas Governor Greg Abbott for the presidency. Because the thing is I don't see Joe Biden lasting another year. And there are a lot of like diehard Trump supporters who are like Trump's got to come back in 2024 so he can mop up the floor with Kamala Harris and put her out the pasture.
Deborah said, "Stop bashing."
There is the problem.
It wasn't me. It was Crazy Kane. I just agreed with him, and I'm getting there too. But no, but you have to admit. I mean, Deborah. I mean, Trump is going to be 80 years old, almost 80 years old, and if he's president and he could be president from 80 to 84, great. But I think in this country, we do need some young talent, and we need it on both sides of the aisle.
And we've been pushing for congressional term limits for a long time.
You got to have term limits. Nancy Pelosi canceled. Maxine Waters canceled. Chuck Schumer canceled. Joe Biden canceled. We got to get rid of all of them. AOC, she's young but canceled. We need to get rid of these people
agree.
Because they're idiots. They're idiots and they're destroying our country.
I agree, but at the same time, we cannot take our eyes off a very old problem.
Okay, what is it?
Age doesn't really matter. What really matters is when we put new people in.
Okay, I see what you're doing. You're trying to backpedal because you insulted Deborah.
Tim Scott out of South Carolina is awesome. I point out Victor's comment.
Let me clear the air with something.
All right, go ahead.
Old rich people,
yep,
richer than myself. Yeah, I have no respect for them. Sorry. Might have fought my way to hell.
Let me stop you there. Hold on one sec. Let me stop you there. I want to ask you a question about this. I'm not trying to disagree with you, but why do you not have respect for an old white person that has a lot of money that maybe started in their life with nothing? They've busted their ass their whole life. They've earned the money. They've saved money instead of wasting money, and they've amassed some type of savings. Why is it bad for an old person to have some money saved?
When the paper shows the man fell for bankruptcy 3 times and still a freaking billionaire.
Okay. You're talking about Trump.
And has had everything handed to him on a silver platter. Hasn't gone through what you or me or any of us normal people going through. Yeah, that's a hard pill for me to even think about swallowing.
Okay, because you're saying you've struggled, your family struggled financially, and he has not struggled financially. So it's hard for you to respect a man that can't relate to you because he hasn't gone through what you've gone through.
Now, had he, like you said, had he started with nothing and made where he's at, hey, all the respect and power to him.
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
No.
I understand what you're saying, but in this country again, we're kind of getting off topic a little bit. I do want to get back to why are we here, but we kind of morphed into talking about this a little bit. But I want to make one more comment. Eric said this, and I think this is so important. One of the few ways I think that we can redeem our government a little bit is if we do institute term limits on all politicians. I'm talking school committee members. I'm talking mayors. I'm talking governors. I'm talking, everybody. Congress, they all need term limits. You cannot have anyone, whether it's Mitch McConnell on the Republican side, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, any of them. You can't have people in office for 40 and 50 years because they become the American equivalent of royalty. And that's what they are. And they can do whatever the hell they want. And they're making backroom deals. And it was funny. I was talking to a guy yesterday. I'm not sure if he's going to listen to this show. I can't say where I went in because it'll tell everybody who he was. But I went into a local business yesterday. And it was kind of funny where I had someone say, hey, I've been listening to your podcast. It kind of caught me by surprise. I'm like, oh, really? Did you like it? And they're like, yes. I'm kind of a conservative. I do. And this person was telling me that one of the ways the very wealthy or the political people make a lot of money. Like suppose Nancy Pelosi comes out with a book. Or let's say, to be fair, Donald Trump comes out with a book. You have like groups, organizations, money packs, political organizations that can go out. Nancy Pelosi comes out with a book. They can buy 1 million copies of her book, and they can burn them. They can bury them in the ground. They can put them in a 5 and dime store. But that donation goes directly not to her political fund, but it goes in her pocket. So if Nancy Pelosi has her book on the bestseller list, there's a chance that maybe no one really bought that book, but you've got all these special interest people that are spending money on her book and buying $10 million worth of her books that's going right into their pocket. It's not being seen by anyone. And the books, who even knows if they exist? But that is one way where some of these politicians are making money and getting special interest money put in to their pockets. And we talked about, in that first stimulus plan, the money that went to Pakistan for gender studies. I mean, who really thinks that our government paid, what was it, $50 million so Pakistan could study, gender studies? I mean, come on. That's not what that was about. That was a payoff. That was some type of money handed to that country to get something in return, and it had nothing to do with gender studies. It looked great on paper, though. I'm sure you had a lot of people that was like, oh, wonderful. They're going to study the different genders in Pakistan. No. That's not
and if Pelosi supporters are, buying up millions of copies of her books and then and probably burn them in a bonfire, I wonder how many trees were cut down and destroyed, and not only destroyed once but twice right there.
Right, absolutely. And we just had someone else request to call in, so if you'd like to let us know what you're thinking, chime in, man. Come and let us know what you're thinking. Was that an accidental call? It might have been
Into the Night with Mike. That's a different gentleman. Yes.
Oh, okay, but it might have been an accident. He's interested. All right, but anyway, so go ahead.
John.
Yeah.
Going back to what I was gonna say on the topic of evil, it is at work. You can't deny evil is at work. There's too many signs. There's too many red flags, from attacking religions to attacking books, shows that put out kind, loving stuff. Anything and everything has become an offensive.
Yes.
In a sense.
Yes.
Because anything you say, oh, he said that, that's offensive. I'm entitled to report you for offending such and such. Where did we go so wrong that all of a sudden every little thing is offensive?
I know.
My face could offend some people, but how can you not laugh at that beautiful face?
Hey man,
I mean,
come on. There it is. Now, why do you think I'm not on Twitch? Because I don't want people to see my ugly face. I have a good voice, and I'll ruin the experience if people have to look at me. So I'm better, like I've been told over and over again, I've got the perfect face for radio, and I try to go with that. So I stick with it. But no, man, you're right on the mark. You are absolutely right. And I wish you guys all could have been with me. And, when I was with my dad the other day, he's 80 years old. He's got dementia. He's hanging in there. But I was with 20 of his friends that he went to high school with. A lot of his friends have died. But he had friends there that were anywhere from like late 70s to as high as late 80s. There were a couple of guys there that were really old. And to hear them talk about canceled culture, and they were talking about it because the school they all went to, they're trying to cancel their mascot. And this is a mascot that's been there for 80 years. And to hear them talk about it, they were talking about, everyone today, they're offended by everything. What the hell has the world come to? You can't say anything anymore without getting in trouble. It's not for the betterment of society. And then they were talking about even like the cell phones. They're like, geez, we go out to dinner and we see the family of 6 who's sitting, at a dinner table at a restaurant, and everybody's on their phone. They're not even talking. And it's so true. There are so many things that have just kind of gone crazy in our society where we're being controlled by the media. I mean, think about, we talk about the left-wing media, and I guess you could say Fox News also for the people that don't believe in that network. But I mean, if you look at the media, they're controlling our every thought. They're brainwashing us. They're telling us what to think. They're telling us what to say. They're telling us what to do.
Yeah.
And we can't get away from it. I mean, when I was a kid, you could flip off the TV, shut off the radio, and go out. Now everyone's got their phones in their hands. So no matter where you go, you got your iPhone, you got your Droid in your hand, and you're getting news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that's telling you what to do, what to think, how to live your life, what you should be thinking, and we can't escape it. We can't escape it. It's crazy. Crazy.
Critical thinking is looked down and frowned upon by the powers that be. And you were just talking about like not wanting to go on Twitch and show your face on camera. I guess you're afraid that the camera lens would break.
It might. It very well could. I did do one on TikTok, and then Mr. A came in and made fun of the way I looked. So I kind of, I took down all the mirrors in my house and had to go to some therapy to make myself feel better about my appearance. So that was Mr. A's.
And I gave you a glass break sound, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you got sound effects now?
I'm doing it on my tablet. I'll do it again.
Yeah, do it.
Stone Cold has entered the room, folks.
No.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh man! All right, listen.
Another thing too, John,
go ahead. You do that, and I want to circle back a little bit. Oh, did I just say circle back? Fuck.
Oh.
Saki says, "Oh no! I can't believe I just said that."
Oh, she's the queen of. I will circle back to that.
Oh my God! I said the Jen Psaki line. I'm done. All right, go ahead. You guys talk. I'm taking a break after I just said that. All right, go ahead.
Another thing too is, even after we get term limits in and pass, and we get old people who are like royalty in our government, when we put new people in, we have to make sure the money, power, and greed don't corrupt them.
Yep. Like
these people, because they have become so empowered and so corrupt that they don't think they could be touched.
It's true, though. I mean, who's going to touch them? Who's going to stop Zuckerberg?
And look at all the times we talk about term limits, and then some new person comes in, puts out lots of money, whether he gets it from voters or wherever he gets it from, and they tell you on camera, we will push for term limits. You got my word. We will have term limits. And then when they get in there,
they're all liars.
Exactly.
That's one thing. One thing I learned from the time I was a little kid, and if any of you guys ever meet me in person, would love to meet some of you. Hopefully we do at some point. But I was told from the very time I was a very young kid, my mother and father, we hate liars. Tell the truth. So if you meet me, I'm usually a pretty brutally honest person. If I like somebody, I like them. If I don't, I don't. If you don't like me, honestly, I don't give a fuck. Don't like me, I don't care. I'm going to be me. I'm who I am. And, for many years, I tried to be what I thought other people wanted me to be. And you can't do that. You can't be chasing this idea of what you think everybody else wants from you, because if you do that, you're never yourself, and those same people are still not going to like you. So just be you, and the people that hang around and like you, great. And if they don't, if there are people that don't like my podcast, that's okay. You don't have to like my podcast. If you like coming in here, great. I appreciate you coming in, and I appreciate you all as friends. But I mean, I think all of us need to learn. We need to be our own people. You need to be honest. And that's one thing that it appears these politicians were never taught, because they are the most deceiving, dishonest people that will literally just lie to our faces, and they know they're lying. Mm-hmm. And then they'll just go and do what they want once they get what they want. And I have literally no respect for those people whatsoever, because I mean, they're liars. They're liars. And if you're a liar, you have no integrity. You just have nothing. I mean, your word and your, I guess, who you are as a person defines what you are in this world. And I know when I go, I don't mind certain people saying, like Mr. A, saying that I'm an asshole, but at least I was an honest asshole, and at least I stood for certain things, and I didn't budge from those things just for personal gain for myself. So I don't know, man. But they do. They lie. They tell you things and they lie. So let's.
And also often they're getting paid to lie.
Yeah, they do. But you know what though? I don't care. I don't care if someone today came to me and said, I'm going to give you $10 million, but you have to do something you completely don't believe in that you know is not good for society. I would not take the money. I would be tempted to take the money. $10 million is a lot of money. That would change my life. But again, I'm not going to do it where it's going to basically change the type of person I am. Money is not worth it. Money is not worth compromising who you are as a person. It just isn't worth it. So I want to go back to, not circle back to, because I already made that mistake. I want to go back to what we were originally saying. So Crazy Kane and Eric, you guys called in. If anybody else wants to call in, call in. Let me ask you both. Why are we here and what is our purpose? Eric, we'll start with you.
I guess our purpose
If you
is,
want to start.
it's God, I think, intended for us to walk this earth and to live a meaningful life and to serve Him. But I know all too often we're seeing in society that many people aren't doing that.
No. I mean, how about you, Crazy Ken? What do you think? What do you think is our purpose? Why are we here?
Heaven was supposed, earth. I got tongue tied.
That's
Give me a
okay.
sec.
Go ahead,
Okay. Earth was supposed to be a part of heaven. Adam and Eve did something they were not supposed to.
True.
So they lost God's grace. Did they get it back? Yes, in time they did. But for an instant, they were corrupted to do something they wasn't supposed to do.
Right.
We are all guilty of doing something we're not supposed to do.
Yep.
Because let's face it, when our parents tell us, "Nah, Crazy, don't you dare go eating sweets before supper," and you do it, and then you lie about it, it's the same damn thing.
Yes, it is. I agree.
God knows we are sinners. That's why He gave up His Son to show that, Jesus knows what we're going through because He was amongst men.
Right.
The evil that was there is still here. We cannot keep drinking the Kool-Aid, folks.
It's true. It's true.
God knows our hearts, our faith, and our intentions. He knows we're not perfect. We will never be perfect because they are perfect.
Yep. Well,
and that's all I gotta say about that.
That was, I love that. No, I mean, that was, you are right on with that. And, one of the things I tell my kids a lot is, let me tell you a little quick story. You guys are going to find this funny, so bear with me. I have my 4 kids. They're all very different. I don't tell a ton of stories about my youngest, Brandon, but Brandon's funny. Brandon is our 4th and very charismatic. I think he gets his gift of gab from his dad. I've always kind of had that where I've been able to, speak well. That's why I do what I do for a job. And that's been I think that's my gift as to what I'm good at. But he's like that too. He knows the right thing to say to people. He knows how to get what he wants. He's got these big blue eyes, but also he can be a little stubborn pain in the ass. And he probably also got that from me. So he struggles in school a little bit more. And it's not because he isn't smart. He just doesn't want to do the work. So 2 nights ago, I got an email from his teacher saying he hadn't done his homework. So I said to him, I'm like, buddy, hey, you get 2 assignments a year. You need to do these. School's important. You got to get these things done. Turn off the Xbox. Turn off, give me your phone. You need to do your work. So he was pissed. He didn't want to do it. So he went upstairs and was up there for about an hour. And he comes downstairs and said, okay, I did all my work and I submitted it. It's good to go. I was like, all right, well, I appreciate you doing your work. Thank you. So I get an email from the teacher the next day. Mr. DeVito, this is the teacher. Your son did submit his 2 homework assignments that he had missed. However, one was blank, so he sent in nothing. And the other one, there were 7 questions. He wrote the same sentence 7 times over and gave the same answer for every question. So he wrote a 1-line sentence and just copied it for all 7 questions. So, so I get that. And I'm like, he comes home from school and I'm like, hey, buddy, you did your work last night, right? He's like, yeah, Dad, I did my work. I'm like, what's funny? Because I talked to your teacher today again. And your teacher said one was blank and the other one, you wrote the same sentence over 7 times. And he just starts laughing. He goes, yeah, you caught me. I'm like, did you think I wasn't going to find out? And he goes, no, I kind of figured you'd find out, but I just didn't feel like doing the work that night. I'm like, all right, well, you're going to end up doing it tonight. And then I asked him the big question. I was like, listen, I have to ask at least, did you do this the right way? When you wrote the 7 sentences and they were exact the same, did you at least copy and paste them or did you type them all out? He's like, well, I typed them all out. I'm like, why would you do that? If you're going to be lazy, go 100% and be fully lazy and just copy and paste the sentence. So we had him down on the table last night and we forced him. My son is turning 12 next Tuesday. So exactly. So we had him on the table last night. He spent about 2 hours doing his homework and he finally got it in. So that was kind of a good thing. I see people saying, Tron, hey, Tron, welcome to the show. Dude, Sean, I see all you guys in there. Jess Duck, good to see you. But the one thing I try to tell my kids, and this is so important, because I try to teach them to be honest. I try to teach them to be good people. You gotta look out for the person that maybe struggles. If there's a kid sitting alone at lunch, in school, go sit with that kid. If there's a kid that has no one to play with at recess, go invite that kid to play with you. Do the right thing and do good things for people because good things are going to come back. But the one thing I always try to say to them is like, the most important word to me is integrity. And they'll ask, what is integrity? Well, integrity, the simple way of saying what it is it's doing the right thing when nobody's looking. And that's what I kind of threw that at him last night. I'm like, again, I talk about integrity a lot, buddy. There's going to be a lot of times in your life when people aren't watching what you're doing. People aren't going to be paying close attention to the choices you're making. And the only one that's going to be judging you other than God is yourself. So if you're making the wrong decisions when nobody's looking, that's a lack of integrity. And that's going to cause you to suffer in your life. So I always try to preach to them integrity. Does it always take root? No, they make a lot of mistakes like we all do. But to go back to the original statement, and I'm going to give you what I think, what's our purpose? Why are we here? And I've been searching for this my whole life. And like we started off, we're living on this big marble flying through space. We're human beings. We're the most elaborate created machine in the history of the world. We're living with animals. We have forests. We have oceans. We have life on every inch of this planet. We're traveling through space at 100,000 miles per hour or 200,000 miles per hour. Is the Earth a spaceship? I don't know what it is. Do we have a final destination that we're looking to get to? I don't know. And I don't think any of us will know the answers to the actual questions as to why we are on this weird planet. Will we come back again? Is there a heaven after this? I mean, I think anything's possible. I mean, people will say to me, I don't believe there's heaven. And, I think that sometimes too. I'm like, okay, maybe there's no heaven. I don't know what happens when you die. Maybe you just die. But if we can be here, I mean, think of us being here, the miracle of being on Earth and what that means. Really think about, we were born here. We all came out of our mothers. We were born into this world. We didn't exist beforehand. And all of a sudden, here we are on this planet. If we can be here, why can't we be someplace after we're here, right? So if we're here, which is really a miracle to think about, if we die here, how do you know we're not born into another existence or born into another dimension or born into another body? Yeah. We could be back in another form. And I always like to think about, the example of like a light bulb. If you have light bulbs all over your house, and if a light bulb breaks, which would be the body, if it breaks, the electricity doesn't just die. The electricity goes to a different light bulb, right? It goes someplace else. So I think of our soul or our being as the electricity going into a light bulb. And if the light bulb stops to function, that doesn't mean the electricity stops to function. It just means the vehicle or the body is dead. So, I mean, again, for me, I don't know if there's a heaven or not. I like to believe that there is. I like to believe that there's a God, and I do truly believe that there is a God. And for me, I like to try to live my life to hopefully make God happy with me, proud of me, almost like a parent would. I like to try to do good things for other people. And a lot of times I like to do things that I don't want any fanfare from. I don't want people to know about it. I don't need people to know if I do something nice for somebody else because I'm not doing it to impress anybody. I'm trying to do it for the greater good, to help people. And that's the way I try to live my life. So, I mean, what is our purpose? I think our purpose is sometimes to stop and enjoy the smaller things in life. If you're working, or you don't have a moment to yourself every day, make sure you go out and take a moment to go for a walk and think about why you're here. Go to the beach, take a walk at the beach and think about why you're here. Instead of sitting in front of the TV all night, turn the TV off for a half an hour and think about your purpose in this life and why we're here. And there goes my phone. Let me shut that off. There we go. Phone call.
And Tron Cat even put in the chat, like Bible being an acronym for basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Right. Right. Well, I think that's what it is. I mean, if you look at the 10 Commandments, and the video I watched the other day was a really good video, and he was talking about the 10 Commandments, and the way he was describing the 10 Commandments in the Bible, weren't like these threatening warnings, thou shall not kill. It was more meant as like a guide. Here's your guide to life. If you don't steal, if you don't kill each other, if you don't do all these terrible things, then it's going to be a better world. It's going to be a happier world. We're going to have a more peaceful existence. I mean, if you have free will, if you want to go out and kill people and you want to go out and steal and you want to go out and covet other people's property and their wives and their husbands, if you want to live that way, you can go do it, but you're going to be miserable and it's not going to be a good place for everybody to live, right?
They're going to be.
We're so caught up in, people have just lost their way. And I think part of it is in this country, the government and the evil, maybe the evil, they have taken away our religion. They have taken away, our belief in a higher being, because really our God in this country is no longer the higher power that we should be speaking to. It's money, it's power, it's having the mansion, it's having the nice car, it's having all these different things. And it's not really, again, what we should be focused on is the greater good, doing good things for others. Now, don't get me wrong. I look at people like Joel Osteen. I know some people don't like him. I know he's not really 100% maybe a pastor. He is, but he isn't. He's kind of like a really good motivational speaker that mixes in God, in my opinion. But for me, when I watch Joel Osteen, and I do listen to him sometimes. I do watch him on TV. I do like him. He makes me feel better. He does give me things that I think help me become a better person in my day-to-day life. For me, I have no problem with that guy making a lot of money. He's got a huge house. He makes a lot of money. I don't know why it became okay or needed for priests and holy people to live in poverty. I mean, if the guy is good what he does, and he makes a lot of money, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Good for him. But I don't know. It's money. Is a good thing. It gives you, I guess, peace of mind. You don't have to worry so much about not being able to pay your bills. But honestly, having money does not take away all of your problems. It doesn't instantly make you happy. If you have voids in your life or voids in your heart, having a lot of money isn't going to fix that. You can go out and buy a new expensive car, and in a week you're sick of having that car. It doesn't do anything to make your heart and your soul repair itself. I mean, you need to heal from the inside, and you need to feel that you're a good person on the inside. Am I wrong, guys? And I see that we've got another caller in. So if you want to talk, let me let you go. Right. Yeah, go ahead.
You're absolutely right, John.
Thank you.
That's the problem. Media, government, they've taken away the religion aspect of things, and they want you to believe that the almighty dollar is going to solve all the troubles.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
So you got to get the dollar. And my thing is, people, if you ever heard of the 7 deadly sins,
of course,
there's 3 huge ones that are running our country, in my book.
Greed,
power, greed, and lust.
And you know what? I would throw in there also envy. Because I think when you have people that are successful, envy is a good one, because envy, a lot of people suffer from envy. And I literally try to live my life. That's one I try to avoid completely, because, if someone's doing better than me in their life, good for them. Good. I'm glad you're doing better. I'm glad you have more money. You're more successful. Maybe, things in your family are better than my family. You're happier. Good. I don't hate for that, because I think if you become envious, then it really tears you apart as a person, because then you're jealous of everybody and you can't be happy for yourself if you're jealous of everybody else. So, but you're right. The 7 deadly sins are, very, very important. They're really a good guide. If you can avoid those 7 deadly sins in your life, then I think that it does help you to be, maybe a happier person. I'm sorry. We were talking so much. We had a caller and I think he dropped off. So I'm sorry that we were talking away and he dropped off.
Well, we're about 10 minutes till the top of the hour anyways.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for a few more minutes. I'm not in a big rush today, so I figure I'll go a little bit longer, and then maybe we'll go till about 1 o'clock or so. Okay, here's Into the Mic. I think that's who I had on, and I think I lost him, so let's see if he's back in. And yeah, if you welcome to the show, I think you're here. If you want to talk, go ahead. The microphone's all yours. Take it over. Welcome to the show, Into the Night with Mike. Are you there, my friend? If so, I can't hear you. Might have been a mistake. All right. Well, I'm just going to keep talking. If you want to chime in, just interrupt me and let me know if you're ready and you'd like to talk. And if you don't, just chill out in the panel. That's good too. So I don't know. So, I mean, are some of the things I'm making today making sense, or am I just rambling? You know, I mean, I'm trying to figure out why we're here. And when I wrote the name of the show down, you know, I don't really always know the answer to it. So I was hoping maybe someone could give me the answer. So I heard someone talk into the night. Was that you?
Right answer, John.
No, there isn't. You're right. There is no right answer, is there? I mean, we don't have an actual answer as to why we're here, what our purpose is. And I guess we'll never have those answers until maybe we pass on to the next level and realize we're all here. But, you know, if you go out in the morning, if you go out at night, you know, take a look at the sunrise, take a look at the sunset. If you're fortunate enough to live near the ocean, take a walk on the beach, you know, take a drive up to the mountains. Even if you're in the city someplace, I mean, take a drive through the city and look at the amazement of everything that we have in this world. I mean, we have so many beautiful things in this world. We have so many things that we can look at that sometimes we just pass right by without even thinking about it, and thinking about how lucky we are to have so many of the things that we have in this world. And we just don't stop and think because we're so busy, we're so occupied, our mind is racing, and we're not taking a moment to sit back and realize all the gifts that we have in life. And we talked a little bit earlier about people that maybe struggle with money. Money is not the be all end all. I mean, it's nice to have it, but if you don't have it, you can still have a good life. I mean, I know it's stressful. I grew up in a family that struggled with money. I know it's stressful when mom and dad can't pay the bills, and they don't have enough money to pay all the bills in 1 month, and you're worried about losing a house or an apartment or whatever it may be. It can be stressful, but it doesn't resolve all your problems. I mean, there are other things you can do. And I hope that, if people are listening to me, whether it's in the live right now or they're listening to my podcast on one of the different platforms I publish it out to, if you take anything away from this show, take some time this weekend, do one thing for yourself if you don't normally do it. Take some time to yourself, go for a walk in the woods, go for a drive, whatever it is, and just think about why you're here. Think about what you can do to make the world a better place, because that's what I'm going to do. And I'm hopefully going to do some things over the next couple of weeks. A lot of them will be just like little small random acts of kindness. But I mean, if it's buying somebody a coffee, holding a door open for somebody, smiling at somebody when it looks like they're having a bad day, if you're out driving in traffic, stop and let someone pass. Give someone a wave in your neighborhood that you don't normally wave to. Stop and check in on one of your neighbors. If you have like an elderly neighbor that maybe hasn't been getting out that much, see if you can help them. If you go into the grocery store, can I pick up milk for you or something like that? Because I did see the comment that someone made earlier. I think it was actually Mike from Tampa Bay's mom was made some comments where she was talking about we no longer live in a society where we're looking out for each other anymore. I mean, really, I live in this big neighborhood. Now, you guys can't see where I live, but I've got this big neighborhood where there's probably, if I had to guess, I don't know, probably 150 houses maybe in this neighborhood, and it's a nice neighborhood out in rural USA. But honestly, with the exception of 1, 2, maybe 3 of my neighbors, I haven't talked to any of my other neighbors, and I've been living here for, I think, 16 years. I mean, think about that. And none of the neighbors in this neighborhood really reach out and talk to each other. We don't have neighborhood get-togethers, and it could be a Northeastern thing where people kind of keep to themselves a little bit more. But I mean, we really have very few people that we talk to. It's the same way. Yeah, I didn't know if it was the same way. We don't really talk to anybody. And it's kind of a shame. You got, my whole dream of living in a neighborhood was getting to know people. I mean, my kids have a few friends they run around with, but as far as the parents, none of us know each other at all. And it's kind of unfortunate because we're not sharing our lives with anybody that we live to. And it would be nice to have that. I mean, we're very fortunate to have. Right next door to us is an older couple who unfortunately just sold their house. They've been living next to us for like 16 years. He was actually a navigator, like an Air Force pilot. He was like, if you think of Top Gun, he was Goose, the guy in the back that drove the fighter jet. And, great people. Their kids grew up, so they're moving away. So now we have a new family coming in next door. So we're hoping they're nice people, someone that we can get along with. But, I think that we are missing having that connection with neighbors. So I see Chris is saying that you are your neighborhood watch president. So well, that's pretty good. But I assume you're saying that maybe you still don't have like a lot of connection in the neighborhood. But you know what it is? It's just everybody is home doing their thing on their phones. And all of our friends are being measured by how many Facebook friends we have and not actually how many friends we have in real life. 4 months ago, I dumped Facebook, and that was literally the best thing I've ever done in my life. I still have my John DeVito Show page, but I don't have a private Facebook page anymore. And I think some people in town were mad at me. They thought I dumped them, and I had to explain, oh, no, I got rid of my whole account. It's not you. So I didn't, you didn't do anything. I'm not mad at anybody. And I'm sorry if you were offended, but I did not cut you. I just cut my account because I couldn't take the constant drama and bullshit. Plus, I hate Zuckerberg. So I was happy to get rid of his ugly face out of my social media account. So I don't know. So anyway, I've kind of, I think, said everything I have to say today. Eric, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say. And I still see we do have the other gentleman up on the caller panel. Did you have anything you want to say or no? Into the dark, I think it is. I think he's up there accidentally. That's happened to me before. I called in.
I mean, the thing about calling into shows here on Podbean Live is you need to have Bluetooth enabled earbuds or a headset plugged in.
Right. Well, it's funny. I tried to do that. I tried to call in recently because I just got my new earbuds today. I broke my old ones and I have new ones so I can call into people's shows again. But I tried to actually connect without them. It wouldn't even let me connect. So when I pushed the button, it said you have to have headphones. And then when I tried to do it again, it wouldn't let me in. So maybe that was.
I don't know if you got your earbuds like synced up with the device.
I just got them in the mail today, so I haven't done it yet. But I do have them now, and I'll sync them up. So I can.
Homeboy 88 just showed up.
Oh, homeboy's here right at the end of my show. What's up, homeboy? Hey, homeboy, I was in a show last night, and I saw someone tooling on you. I can't remember what show it was. Damn it, what show was it in? I was in a show way down at the bottom of the list. I scrolled down, and every now and then I like to click on one that's only had like 6 people listen to it. So I clicked on one last night.
Oh, he changed it to El Gato.
Whoever was in the show last night, I can't remember the guy's name. I honestly can't. He was saying that he had a fight with El Gato. And it was like a name I did not recognize. It was like a long name. And he's like, yeah, I was in another show and I was fighting with this guy called El Gato. So I didn't say anything. I just kind of like laughed it off a little bit. It was pretty funny. But it looks like El Gato got into it with somebody yesterday, and he was talking about it on his show, which was pretty funny. So, hey, man, on this show, nothing but love for El Gato and homeboy. He is the man, and always welcome in this show. So, hey, listen, guys, he's going to call in. Let's go to him, and then we'll wrap up this bad boy. Let's get El Gato. What's up, my man?
I wonder if he's going to be slamming that door on his van, open and close.
I know, right? Doing his deliveries.
This is Conor fucking Gregor. Who the fuck has a problem with me? I want to apologize. I want to apologize to nobody.
Yeah, they were ripping on you, man. They were ripping on you. I get into that. I didn't say anything, and it was like, okay. I was in this podcast, and I was fighting with this guy named El Gato. I literally laughed out loud. I was like, I know him.
Oh, because somebody banned me.
Again?
Well, they tried to. You know how you block and it says you can't message or call in?
Yeah.
During my call in, I see that because I was going to type something, and it says that, and I'm trying to tell the host, what the hell's going on? Why'd you block me? I didn't block you. Okay, just unblock me. I can't unblock you. You're not on my block call list. I don't know what the hell's going on. And so I'm like, if this is my third strike, I'm gonna be gone for a week. Just take me off, somebody. And this one guy has to chime in and stop it and all this crap, and we got into it. You know what I'm saying?
So you get blocked like 3 times a week from people. What the hell are you doing out there, man? I've never even had an idea to block you. I love that.
I think haters are gonna hate.
Yeah. Like,
but yet, but I think the people who keep blocking you from their shows unblock you and in hopes of goading you to come back in so they can block you again.
No, but they unblocked me, and as soon as that happened, I jumped out of the show. I was like, I'm out of here. Feet don't fail me now.
And then they can't reblock you. That's perfect.
Exactly.
Hey, listen, you jumped in. So the topic of our show, we're kind of at the end. We've been on for like an hour and 20 minutes. But let me ask you, why do you think we're here? What's our purpose in life? Why are we here? I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Jeez. How much time I got? 2 minutes? I can answer it in 2 minutes.
Police sirens behind you, so you're running from the police as we talk to you.
Okay, I gotta go, guys. Oh my God. No.
Oh, Jesus.
Why are we here? Why are we here? What's our purpose?
Hey, Frankie D, I got new headphones today. I can finally call into your show. They arrived today, my new earbuds.
I think, I don't know. I think, honestly, I have no clue, John DeVito, but I'm just enjoying the ride, and it's been a good one so far for the most part. There's been ups and downs, but I'll say this. Okay.
Yep.
About this. I'll put my theory on it. And I probably don't even believe this wholeheartedly, but I think we're God, right? We're all
Yep.
one, as they say, and we're all living this life because God got bored. Okay.
We could
And
just
we're
be
all,
a science project. We're probably like God's
yeah.
science project, sitting on a desk
No,
someplace.
this is what happened. He was out in the universe. He got bored, right? And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna split myself into a billion people, okay, and all this or more, and I'm gonna give myself amnesia. And then at the end, he wants to see if he can remember that he was God. So we're all God. You got this?
All right. No, hey, dude, I like the theories. I've thought about, the whole science project one before, or we're just a zoo. They're coming down in their spaceships to see the animals in the zoo.
No. And I think that's why people say we're all connected and that we're all one and all this stuff.
Okay.
So think about that. When you're fighting with your neighbor, you're fighting with yourself.
Right. Yeah, I see Chris. Chris is kind of ticked off at you. He's asking you where his package is. So Chris for Unplugged is asking you where the package is. Did you deliver yet, or did you lose it?
Well, have you ever seen Ace Ventura? That's what I did to the package when I was kicking it all down the hall. And I'm sorry about that, bro.
Oh, you let the elevator door just smash it.
Slamming it in the door.
Yeah. I was like, Diego Maradona, Diego Maradona, para el frente, golazo.
Hey, so now Elgato, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Can you give me a song? What's the song he sings? The goodbye song? Is that what it is? Or what
like the bus song, but I think Kane and Into the Night with Mike just left us.
Oh, they did.
Damn, I'll still put Crazy Kane in it. Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me get ready. Hold on. Here we go. Goodbye, Crazy. Goodbye, Eric. Goodbye, John. We're glad you rode on the bus with us. See ya.
I love it, man.
He'll probably be over at Frankie D's crib at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, we'll see if. Oh, you know what? I'm going to be driving my kids to work at 3, so I'll be in the car. Maybe I'll listen, but I won't be able to talk. But maybe I'll talk. Yeah, if I'm sure some of you guys have heard the show. Frankie D is in the show right now. Excellent show. He comes on in the afternoon. Young guy and has a really good show. So if you haven't been into Frankie D's show, check it out. It's really a good show. I think you guys will like it a lot. So get in there, check it out. And, whatever. Enjoy it. It's a really good show. So, all right, Eric, why don't you advertise?
To answer Into the Night with Mike's question, like days that you are normally on, you try to go on around 11:30 a.m. and noon Eastern time.
Right. Yeah,
but
the weekend. I might do a show pop-up in the afternoon this weekend. So
just make sure you're following the John DeVito show here on Podbean. You'll get a notification when he goes live. But other than Frankie D's crib coming up later this afternoon, the Dark Bear, he is on right now. If you're interested, if anybody's interested in going over to see him, and then 7 p.m. Eastern, Jeremy, of course, will have Pastor Mark Burns as his guest. A really big interview on Cummins' culture you won't want to miss. And then, and I think Chris Unplugged, he's doing a music show this evening. And I think David and Row Unfiltered will be doing Mysteries of the Paranormal and the Slightly Serious show tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, followed by the Old Man's Friday Night Music show at 11 p.m. Eastern. And also throughout the weekend, you've got Lyrical Laxatives if they're doing a show, the It's Doomsday podcast, the Turfy show, and on Sunday afternoon, the Beans and Weenies, comedy show. And Sunday night, you've got the Tall Tales and Rabbit Hole and Trice Talk, and then also be on the lookout for the Ralph Williams podcast and the Freedom Warriors, Freedom Fighter podcast, and the Old Man's
on last night. I was in Ralph's show for a while last night. Is he doing nighttime shows now? I popped in.
I noticed he's been doing some nighttime shows, but normally he would be on in the mornings, and then also be on the lookout for Lingalonga. He's got a great singing voice. And also be on the lookout for Captain Jimmy to fire up the Pirate Radio podcast. When he has the time, and also be on the lookout for Mike Tampa Bay and to do his podcast, and
don't forget Homeboy.
Corey and Homeboy 88, of course, and also be on the lookout for the Uncommon Sense Radio podcast with our good friend Corey, aka C Rock, and so many other great podcast friends here on Podbean, and of course Cubella Cade and Torch.
Oh, I missed that. You did your first podcast. How did it go? Q Bella. I wish I had heard it. I hope it went well. I know my first one. I went back and listened to my first one. It was horrible. So horrible. I was really bad. So I've improved over the last 245 shows. Oh, is Elgato coming back in to say something? Come back in, Elgato. What do you got?
I always forget to plug my show.
You there, Elgato?
So, hello?
Yes.
I always forget to plug myself and don't be cochino when I say that. But
you forgot to what? You forgot to what? Dude.
No, don't be a sicko. I always forget to plug myself. But
that's my sense of humor laughing.
Yeah, listen to my latest show. Listen to my
Sorry.
Is there a baby? Listen to my latest show. The Homeboy 88 podcast is called The Los Angeles Story. I'll just give you the short version, like in Spaceballs. One of the stories is I open the bathroom door and somebody says, "Do you mind?" So you gotta hear the whole story now.
So when's that show going to be on?
It's published.
Oh, it's already published. You already get it out there.
Yes.
If you guys haven't been in the Homeboy show, you got to check that out also. So great show. He's a funny dude. Well, I'll shut that off. I had the moaning going.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Lara and Pink Squirrel and Milk Dog.
Arigato.
See ya.
Yeah, well, hey, definitely, Q Bella. When you publish that, I'll take a look at it. So I think, you know what's funny? I've been trying to follow people. I can't follow people because I guess I have every time someone followed me, because I've been doing this for a while now, I would follow them back. So I guess they have a limit at Podbean of 1,000 people. So I think I've followed 1,000 people. I've got 1,000 followers. I can't follow anybody else. So it's annoying where I can't follow anybody new. So you did some prom readings. Nice. That sounds like fun. I'll definitely listen to it when you publish it. And hopefully I can get into you live next time and check it out. So, all right, everybody. Hey, thank you, everybody.
And look forward to more Get to Know Your Podcaster interviews coming up very soon.
Yeah, I got to get organized and do some more of those. So, everybody, I love you. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for coming into my show today. I really appreciate it. Eric, thank you. Crazy Kane, thank you. Elgato, thank you. And everybody else that came in.
Yeah, Dark Bear, we appreciate him calling in today.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon now. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. See you later.